2025, I read a lot of books. I think according to Goodreads, I read over 89 out of my goal of 100. Now, it's a lot of different kinds of books. There's some poetry, there's some manga, there's some children's picture books in there too. It's not just 1,000-page fantasy novels, although there are a couple. With how much I read, I wanted to share with you some of my favorites. Now, this is a list of 5 favorites. There's some honorable mentions, a couple books that I did really enjoy but aren't really in that top 5 for whatever reason. We're going to go in order of 5 up until number 1. We'll start with number 5 and we'll end with my number 1 book of the year. Book number 5 in my top 5 books of 25 is Less by Andrew Sean Greer. I used to work at a bookstore this past year, and a coworker of mine recommended this book to me. It's really, really great. It's the Pulitzer Prize winner of 2018, which was, if you care about that, that's the thing. It's about this man named Arthur Less, who goes through, I want to summarize without spoiling. I guess you could call it a breakup, and that kind of cascades to him finally taking the chance to explore different places and take on opportunities he's been putting off for years. And just, it's like a year in this man Arthur's life as he discovers things about himself, about getting older, about reflecting on who you were and who you will become. I really, really enjoyed it. It's a wonderful piece of queer literature. Really recommend. Check it out. Book number 4, Spent by Alison Bechdel. This was one of my favorite books I read this year. I love Alison Bechdel. She is one of my favorite writers. Fun Home, one of my favorite books of all time. I read back in 2022 her collection, Dykes to Watch Out For. And it's not that it's a precursor that you have to read that before reading this, but Spent is like a satirical biography that kind of is set in the comic satirical world of Dykes to Watch Out For. Really, really great. Alison Bechdel's writing is clever, it's witty, it's intelligent, it's thought-provoking. I read this back in May or June. I bought it when I was here visiting London for the first time in May from a bookstore. And yeah, I cannot get enough of Alison Bechdel. Really, really recommend. My third favorite book of the year, The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. It's a combination of my 2 favorite genres, fantasy and books about books. It's very poetic and fantastical, all about this library, infinite library underneath the world. At some points it talks about Mississauga, so hey, some Canadian rep there. Again, kind of all about the idea of discovering the sense of self. Where do you fit into the world? This time the protagonist is a PhD student, a university student in mid-20s, trying to figure out where he fits into everything. It's littered with literary references and filled with magic and wonder, both fantastical and literary. I really love The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. It was a book I accidentally discovered because someone returned it at the bookstore I worked at. I was like, I've never heard of this book before. And before I shelved it, I read the back and I said, I need to read this. And it was fantastic. It was so, so, so good. My second favorite book of the year was Remainders of the Day by Sean Bythell. This is one that really has me missing my copies of the books back home. The cover in North America is different from the cover here in the UK, and I think in Europe as well. I love Sean's books. He's so witty and funny. It's just him keeping a diary. It's a non-fiction biography, I guess. He's keeping a diary of what it's like owning and running a bookstore in a small Scottish village. Well, actually, I don't know how small Wigtown is, but it's great. If you love bookstores, if you love books, if you just love funny sense of humor, give any of Sean Bythell's books a go. He's got a bunch of ones. I think there's Diary of a Bookseller, Remainders of the Day. I think each one is set between 2015 and 2018 or something like that. It's a year in his life. He just kept a little diary, and the entries could be as short as 3 sentences, how many books I sold today, to I went off on vacation with a friend and we went hiking. It was great. I love books about books, and this is a great book about books. And finally, my favorite book of the year was The Wave Kings by Brandon Sanderson. If you haven't read Brandon Sanderson before, I'd recommend actually starting with Mistborn, not with The Wave Kings, but the Stormlight Archive is so, so, so good. Love Brandon Sanderson. Shout out to you, Andrew, for getting me into it. Again, North American cover. I miss it so much. I'm actually on the third book now. I think it's Words of Radiance. But I'm going to wait until I can get my hands on a North American edition of the book because I don't know, I prefer that cover more. Wonderful fantasy. The Stormlight Archive is so good. Kaladin, the best. The magic system is so cool. It's so imaginative. I read it while on a work trip in the Northwest Territories, and I slept so little that trip because I just stayed up after work for hours at a time. I read over 1,000 words in like a week. I don't want to summarize it too much because I don't want to spoil anything, but I would say if you want to check out Brandon Sanderson, start with Mistborn. Read Mistborn 1, and then if you like it, go on and explore further. But so good. And that is my favorites of 2025 video. Thanks for hanging out at this bookstore with me. All of my books are back in Canada in boxes. I couldn't bring them all with me, so this is a very bookstore supported video. If you wanted to keep up with me and the things that I read, you can always subscribe below or go check me out on Goodreads. I don't really post reviews over there. I just kind of like put a few stars on the books that I do and don't like and make little lists to organize them. Speaking of Goodreads, if anyone has any recommendations for alternative book tracking sites to use, please recommend them. Like, comment them below. I've been wanting to get off Goodreads for a while, but I can't. A bit of laziness and also inability to find a good alternative has kept me on Goodreads much longer than I have intended to. Please comment some recommendations for book tracking alternatives. Thank you. If you're interested in seeing any of the other things that I enjoyed this year, movies, TV, anime, video games, there are other videos on the channel, saved my favorites from this past year. But I'm going to leave you here at the bookstore now, and I'm going to make my way home with a purchase or two. Okay, see ya.